Well, welcome back. Big storm in New York. And by the way, it has nothing to do with the snow falling outside of our studios right now. Let's get to Jared Max with that. Jared, good morning.
Good morning, Maria. Former New York Knicks All-Star Charles Oakley, who was an arresting force for 10 years as a New York Knicks, last night attended the game at the Garden and left the arena in handcuffs. Oakley, who's been highly critical of New York Knicks owner James Dolan, tried to get near Dolan during the game. Next thing we knew, security stepped in. Oakley became more angry and eventually shoved a security guard and even looked like he might have delivered something of a slap or a punch to someone's face. While being dragged away, Charles Oakley said, "I didn't do anything." And he yelled, "Dolan did this. That's some BS." The Knicks released a statement. They say that Oakley behaved in a highly inappropriate and completely abusive manner. They say he's been ejected and is currently being arrested by the New York City police. And he was a great Knick, and we hope he gets some help soon. Oakley has been released from jail. So Tom Brady's Super Bowl jersey still missing, but there's hope. TMZ Sports says law enforcement officials working on the investigation are hopeful that the jersey, along with the missing football that James White scored the winning touchdown with in Super Bowl 51, are all on a tractor trailer mixed in with other team equipment on its way to Boston, scheduled to be unloaded today. Meanwhile, NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal, who spent some time in law enforcement, told TMZ he thinks the jersey was stolen and that it was an inside job. Shaq said, "First I'm checking the ball boys, then I'm checking his teammates, the ones that don't really play a lot. Somebody knows something." The second most valuable Major League Baseball team reportedly in line to sell off part of its empire. The Los Angeles Times reported yesterday that the LA Dodgers may be looking to sell a minority share in the team. Dodgers have hired an investment banker, Sal Goliotto, who helped to solicit bids for the Chicago Cubs for $300 million. Well, he's been hired now by the Dodgers, who were valued by Forbes last year at $2.5 billion. So one of the bigger baseball teams looking to make a move, sell off a little chip.
What do you think about that price? I mean, is that sort of what?
It's a little bit of a boost from where it was sold at in 2012. Right. So an opportunity. You know, the Cubs just cashed in. And sports, I mean, you look at values of teams maybe just 5-6 years ago and exponentially how much they've grown.
Well, when they were in the last valuation, though, wasn't a big chunk of that based on Dodger Stadium and,
yes.
and the value of the real estate?
Yes, and there was also issues with the McCourt family and as far as in the divorce, and it just became a big, ugly mess.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah,
you're right.
That was a pretty...
What do you guys think about this? A lot of pro athletes not happy with President Trump. Steph Curry getting into a conversation after Under Armour CEO Kevin Plank made the following pro-Trump comments. Here's what Kevin Plank said. He said, "To have such a pro-business president is something that is a real asset for the country. People can really grab that opportunity." Curry, who has a sponsorship deal with Under Armour, responded by telling the Mercury News this: "I agree with the description if you remove the ET from asset." LeBron James also spoke about it. He talked about Trump's controversial immigration order. He told The Hollywood Reporter this: "I am not in favor of this policy or any policy that divides and excludes people. I stand with the many, many Americans who believe this does not represent what the United States is all about and should continue to speak out about it." Athletes now getting political?
I know it's now. It's just all of a sudden it seems
Stop.
it's so big. You know what? I'll tell you what when I hear this, what I find most interesting is that comments that I'd read. Presidential historian Douglas Brinkley had a meeting with then President-elect Trump shortly before he became president. And he told the Washington Post that Donald Trump was as happy to talk about NBA basketball as he was about history. He likened it, he said, it reminded me a little of Nixon, who loved football, which got me thinking, if these are the biggest stars in the NBA, Steph Curry and LeBron James, and being highly critical of our president, what does that do then, of course, to the president, who's said to be a huge NBA fan if the biggest stars are doing this? And, of course, athletes weighing in, I mean...
But I'll push back on that. If Steph Curry was asked about it, you would expect him to give a frank answer, right? It's like there's a difference between being asked about something like that
and then just saying
and just standing in front of a microphone after the Cavaliers beat the Heat
and using that time to be political. That's true. Yeah, you're right. But remember, LeBron James, he campaigned for Hillary, right, in Ohio.
And he doesn't ask anybody, hey, can I talk here? Steph normally would, but Steph is also part of a team of the Golden State Warriors whose head coach, Steve Kerr, has been incredibly vocal against President Trump. And it's almost like, hey, if Daddy's saying it, and then the kids start repeating what Daddy's saying.
Well, I mean, Northern California, that's the most liberal area of the country. It's even more liberal than Los Angeles or New York City, I would argue. But again, it's rather than mouthing off, if you really don't want President Trump in the White House, then you got to do something about it. And put the mouth to work. Put that energy and hot air to work in a better way.
At this point, he's the president, and people do not want to hear everybody get political.
Yeah, LeBron James does have some expertise in traveling, though. He got more traveling penalties than I think anybody in the NBA, so he can talk about the travel ban.
He wouldn't stay at
Okay. That's a different kind of travel.
Really quickly, LeBron wouldn't stay at the Trump Hotel here in New York City, even though the club has a deal with the Trump Hotel.
Give me a break.
He wouldn't stay here.
Give me a break.
Allegedly.
Jared, good stuff. Thank you so much, Jared Max. Catch Jared's sports reports on Fox News Headlines 24/7, or you can check him out on Sirius XM 115.